On this week's show, Peloton has a cease and desist import ban, and the Peloton Row gets some form feedback updates.
Plus, Peloton is reminding members to change their pedals annually. Becs Gentry is back teaching live classes, and much, much more.
Welcome to Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. Here are your hosts, Amanda Siegel and John Pruitt.
Welcome to episode 119 of Pelo Buddy TV, a show for the Peloton community by the Peloton community. I'm John Pruitt, joined as always by my lovely co-host, Amanda Siegel. Hey, Amanda.
Hey, John. How are you?
How's it going? This looks like Washington, D.C. sunlight through it. I don't see Florida sun in that room.
No.
It's not very bright.
Maybe Washington, D.C. sunlight, but it is Florida sun. Yeah, it's not such a great day here today. But I am down in Florida for the week, pre-surgery. Just got in last night and decided to escape before next week when I will be having my surgery. So, just hanging in there, just hanging in.
Well, hopefully the relief is very in sight.
I hope so. I really do hope so. And I just want to get back to normal. I want to get back on, quit the complaining, just go. So I am looking forward to being back on. For sure. How's your week been?
It's good. Just another solid week. My son's hockey playoffs are going well. He had a big game the other night. They were down 2-1. They were about to pull their goalie, and they ended up having a scramble in front of the other team's goal, and they scored. And then the other team, with about a minute left, they pulled their goalie for an extra skater. And apparently, I guess, if you didn't win this playoff game, it wouldn't have mattered to either team. Like, both of us had to get a win. So they pulled their goalie, and we got an empty netter, and we ended up winning the game 3-2. And so it was crazy.
Exciting stuff.
And as I walked around to the locker room after the game, I walked past the players on the other team, and they were sobbing. I felt so bad. These kids were so upset, and I could hear them like, "Why did we pull our goalie?" It was like, thank you. But we're in the middle of youth hockey, squirt hockey playoffs here, so things are winding down. And also, randomly, Jackie and I decided. So we have USA Hockey here, the youth development teams for like the 17 and under and 18 under here in Plymouth, Michigan. And so Jackie and I decided we would be a foster family. We would have a player stay with us. And it's actually like a 2-year commitment, but I'm very excited because it would just be nice to have somebody, in the house with us, hanging out with Jackson and like a nice hockey role model that he would hopefully listen to and excel in the sport. So, we just signed up for that. So obviously it's a little ways away, but
I love that. I think that is so cool. I love that. And I think for Jackson, especially being an only child, it's nice to just have somebody else that he can look up to and, be there. Yeah, that is really kids, fun.
They come from all over the United States. It's not from, outside the U.S. like Canada or, sometimes they have a student exchange program.
Yeah.
But they basically live, breathe, and eat hockey when they're here. So it should be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, that's awesome. That is awesome. Well, I also have an exchange student.
Oh, yeah?
I have a Pelo friend coming to stay, so I'm really excited. Greg Dawson, who you met in London, and I think you hung out. Yeah.
Flight attendant Greg.
Oh, yeah. Flight guru. So I'm really excited about that. He's coming tomorrow and he'll be here for the day, spending the night. He's flying through Miami. And I'm like, well, just come and stay. So I'm really excited. So if I'm on the show next week, I will share all the antics with Greg Pick Peloton, because he is just amazing. I just adore him. So this is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
So yeah. So that's my exchange student.
Close enough.
All right. Well, folks, before we get started with the news, we always like to remind you about all of our content and on all of our platforms. Every episode is released on our YouTube channel. Just hit the subscribe button at the bottom right-hand side of the video and hit the notify button to make sure that you never miss an episode.
And of course, you can always listen to us in case you don't like to watch. We are on all Peloton, all traditional podcast platforms. Just search Pelo Buddy TV. If you haven't subscribed, be sure to hit subscribe, ring that bell for notifications so you never miss an update or a notification. And please leave us reviews. We love the feedback that we get. We love to improve the show because it's for you out there in the Peloton community. We love what we do. We don't get paid to do it. So we always love to expand on the show where we can, like the member picks of the week that was my baby that I brought to the show. So we're always looking ways to innovate.
Exactly. And I think there was a Freudian slip there when you said about Peloton platform or Peloton podcasts, because that Peloton podcast kind of just very quietly vanished. So who knows, Right. Are we it for the Peloton world? And of course, folks, we are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just search Pelo Buddy, follow us on all of those platforms for all of the latest news. And now, John, let's get on with the show.
All right.
First, let's do a rundown of the latest Pelo news.
All right, so our top story today is one that has been making headlines in the fitness industry. Peloton has been hit with an import ban by the US International Trade Commission. The ban is related to Peloton's alleged infringement of streaming technology patents held by the Dish Network. This news is sure to be a blow for Peloton, especially as the company had previously reported an 11% growth in subscribers during the quarter four of 2022. This is definitely concerning news for Peloton and its users. The import ban means that Peloton will not be able to import and sell certain products in the US, including, of course, the bike and tread products. This will have a significant impact on Peloton's revenue and growth prospects in the US market. It does seem that this ban will not have an immediate impact on current Peloton users, though. So Peloton has stated that the ban will not disrupt service to its current members. However, it will affect the availability of new Peloton equipment for those looking to purchase or upgrade if it does, in fact, go into effect. Peloton will obviously appeal this ban, which they have already stated are the plans to do so. The appeal process can take several months, and during that time, Peloton will be able to continue importing and selling its products in the US. However, if the appeal is not successful, Peloton will need to find a workaround to avoid infringing on the Dish Network's patent or negotiate settlement with the company. It will certainly be interesting to see how this plays out, John. It was quite a blow this past week.
I'm curious to know what exactly the details of the patent is that Peloton's allegedly infringing upon. What sort of aspect? The what? The bit rate? Dynamic bit rate. Okay, interesting. I didn't even know that was patentable.
I didn't either, hence it going over my head. But thank you, Control Room, for that. Yeah, so I guess it was a big one. And we'll all be waiting with bated breath to see what the follow-up is.
Yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I always the Peloton lawyers, they never have a dull day.
That's for sure.
Always keep them busy with something in terms of legal issues or lawsuits.
Yeah.
Well, in other news, shifting gears a little bit, We mentioned a while back about a canceled strength device that had been shelved when the financials were sort of up in the air. Barry McCarthy had stepped over as CEO, but we got more concrete confirmation that this project was officially canceled by Peloton. So it was labeled Project Cobra internally. It was a potential strength hardware device that was going to be a direct competitor to Tonal's device that mounts on the wall. So this would have been a platform that you stand on or stand in front of, and it would have two cables attached to it with a bar, for the strength aspect of it. So back in 2021, summer of 2021, we reported Peloton had surveyed members about two potential strength devices. One of these was that platform device, Cobra. And then last December, we had shared some images that was discovered by our friend Bob Tremore that showed the device in use, as well as added some additional design renderings as well. So as I said, it would have been a direct competitor to Tonal, but then the Peloton Guide came out. That was unveiled last year, and essentially, it's a camera that connects to the television, counts your reps, displays your form. So that's what they ended up going with. But we had received additional reports that it was indeed had been canceled entirely last summer. It's really unclear why they pulled the plug, but like I mentioned, there was a lot of, they were making tremendous amounts of layoffs. Closing showrooms. Barry McCarthy was obviously getting the financials in order when he arrived at the company last year. So obviously, they probably looked at the numbers and didn't feel it was feasible, I guess, to keep putting those man hours in. So the team assigned to that Project Cobra, they left through a mixture of layoffs over the course of that year, leaving on their own or transferring to other projects within the company.
Yeah, that was certainly disappointing, but we guess we'll have to wait and see what happens down the road.
Now we need a Tonal acquisition because they're in bad shape apparently.
Tell me about it. As mine sits on the wall and never gets used.
It'd be nice to see. It would be nice to see Maddie Giacomo on your tonal screen.
That's for sure. Oh my God, Maddie, are you listening? I would love to see you. And Adrian, for sure.
Oh yeah.
So my two go-to strength guys. Even Rebecca. Hey, if we could get. All of them. It would be wonderful. So that would be something I would absolutely love. Yeah. Well, interestingly, this past week, Peloton experienced some technical difficulties. In fact, just Thursday morning, with users reporting issues accessing the app, live and on-demand classes, and even the ability to use their equipment. It happened around noon on Thursday. It's not entirely clear what the root cause of the outage was, but Peloton did acknowledge the problem and worked to resolve it as quickly as possible. The outage seemed to have lasted about an hour to an hour and 15 minutes, and around 1:20-ish, it did come back up and was up and running. Understandably, many Peloton users, including our little crew, were frustrated and disappointed with the outage, and especially those that rely on the platform for their daily workouts. It took some of them to hit social media and express concerns and look for updates from Peloton. I saw your meme that you posted in the shower, which I got a good chuckle out of.
Yeah, and then 2 minutes later, it was back up after I posted it.
I didn't know. I didn't know how quickly. I didn't know how quickly that happened.
Yeah, I should have gotten it out much earlier. But
especially since you knew about it. We were discussing it, just on Thursday. But Peloton were good about providing updates, via Twitter. I'm curious to know what Peloton plans to do to prevent similar outages from happening in the future. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what Peloton's response is, and how they plan to address this. But it's definitely frustrating.
This was definitely
for the hour and 15 minutes. I know, but for the hour and 50, especially at lunchtime, certainly at lunchtime here, and around 6 o'clock, it was definitely a heavy workout time frame. It wasn't as if it was like at 10 in the morning, or when it's not as heavily used. With some good live classes on at that time. So I'm curious to know.
I started getting messages, and then I was looking forward to a 1:30 afternoon 80s ride with Sam Yo. And then I noticed the system was back up, but his class went encore. So I feel like they still had issues with maybe the live broadcast, because I'm almost positive he had a live class scheduled for that time. But then all of a sudden, yeah, it showed as it then showed as encore from like a Saturday in late February. So I didn't end up doing it. But yeah, when I tried to go in on my bike, I checked the row, I checked the tread. I was getting the login screen or the QR code. So yeah, I knew something was obviously up. But yeah, it's a good excuse to take a rest day.
Exactly. I guess so for some folks.
Yeah. Well, Peloton has begun to send some reminders for folks that own a bike or a Bike Plus that they should replace the pedals once a year. Members might start to see a pop-up on their bike screens in the coming days or weeks, if you have noticed that. The on-screen reminder, it has the header that says Peloton maintenance notification and contains the following message. It says, to properly maintain your Peloton Bike, Bike Plus, we strongly recommend you replace your pedals annually. For more information, scan the QR code, which will link members to a support page, which has existed actually for years. And it contains recommendation pedals be replaced annually. It also includes a video tutorial with instructions for how to remove the old pedals. I know one of the sides of the pedals is reverse threaded, which throws off a lot of people, but there's usually a sticker labeled there that says that.
Have you replaced yours, John?
No, I've swapped them out with dual-sided pedals to have Delta on one side and the other style cleat, SPDs. Yeah, because Jackson has kids cycling shoes that are SPD, which are way easier to clip in and out of, especially for youngsters. But no, I've checked them. I had my bike replaced 4 or 5 months ago under warranty, the frame, so I know my pedals are good. And Jackie's, I mean, she's pretty easy on her bike. But I don't know, I kind of feel like it's almost like a cover your ass kind of CYOA kind of move, you know, because every now and then somebody posts on the official Peloton member page on Facebook like a freak accident where their pedal snapped off and like they have a gouge in the side of their leg. I've seen that a few different times. So I just feel like they're, you know, they want to cover themselves a little bit. You can purchase the pedals via Peloton's website for $55. But, you know, there's obviously there's a number of options. There's Venzo pedals, which is what I have on Amazon and other retailers like REI. You know, they have different pedal options in the States. But I've never had an issue with my pedals. I've never had them break. I've never had them snap.
Yeah, me neither. And I mean, I have the bike down here and I have the bike in Maryland. And I haven't either. So I almost don't want to like do anything because I'm nervous about changing them. And then I have an issue.
Yeah. You don't open up a can of worms.
Exactly. I also haven't been able to ride my bike. Since the herniated discs, riding is really painful. So I can walk, but I haven't been able to ride. So it's been weeks since I've even been on my bike. So I haven't even seen that. But I guess I'll have to look into that. All right. Well, next up, we actually want to share a really inspiring story about a Peloton rider who uses a handcycle to ride and how last month marked a significant moment for accessibility at Peloton. Tammy Cunnington is a Peloton rider who lost the use of her legs due to a spinal cord injury, but she didn't let that stop her from getting on the bike. She now uses a handcycle to ride, and she's been able to connect with the Peloton community and participate in classes just like any other rider. Tammy became the first person to take a class at Peloton Studios using a handcycle. Christine Derkley had a class on February the 25th that Tammy participated in. So a standard Peloton bike was replaced in the studio with a handcycle that allows the wheels to be turned via the hands instead of the legs. And Tammy got to ride in the front row. And of course, Christine gave her the most beautiful shout out during the class. She said, "This is Tammy Cunningham. And in case you don't know, our friend Tammy here is a Paralympic swimmer. Tammy rides on the app with her hand cycle. I am beside myself with joy that we get to ride together." Both Tammy and Christine also shared their thoughts on social media. Tammy said, "I began my One Peloton classes on my hand cycle when COVID shut everything down in 2020, and I was still prepping for Tokyo Paralympics. Riding helped keep me mentally and physically prepared and focused on the games. So excited to be here in person in New York City and ride my hand cycle with I Can, I Will, I Do live in studio on Saturday." A Peloton first. Thank you to Christine, Peloton, for working with me to make this happen. And thank you to all of the One Peloton instructors who helped me make it to Tokyo under challenging circumstances. Christine also wrote on her social media, on her Instagram, "It was an honor and a privilege to ride with Paralympic swimmer Tammy Cunnington this past Saturday. There is no separation in our community. We are accessible and inclusive. Together we go far."
Amazing.
So, John, it is so inspiring to see how Peloton has become a platform for inclusivity, diversity, allowing riders like Tammy to feel empowered and included. It just shows that Peloton is more than just a fitness. It's about building a community that supports and encourages each other, no matter what challenges we face. So I absolutely love the story, and it was amazing to see.
And kudos to Peloton for being able to accommodate an adaptive athlete that way. I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And hopefully they do it hopefully it's not just a one-off. Hopefully, they can do it at the other studio or for other members that have, a physical disability.
Right. Well, I know that Chris Giles would be really happy if Annika could be in the London studio next to him riding. We know we've shared with you about Chris's fiance Annika for many, many. Chris is chiming in the background, going, "She'd kick his ass," so, which would be really fun to see. I think that could be a really fun.
The two of them side by side.
Right, exactly. As we all know, she is an Olympian, a gold medal Olympian. She's a world champion, etc. I could go on her accolades or forever. So yes, if Peloton are listening, I think London would love to be able to do something like that and have Annika in the studio as well, which would be amazing, especially for the German community, because she is German speaking. So I'm sure that the girls would love to have her in one of their classes, which would be amazing.
I'm sure they would love to make that happen. So that would be cool. Well, in another news, Becs Gentry, she's back from maternity leave now. She had her first live class after having her baby late last year, her baby son. It was a 30-minute country run on this past Thursday
John,
morning.
I have to correct you. She had a girl. Her name is Tallulah.
Oh. I was thinking of, who was I thinking of, Selena? Or maybe I was thinking of Jess. There's so many babies. There's so many babies.
How the hell do you keep up?
Tallulah, that was it. That's right.
Tallulah, she's a cutie pie.
After having her baby girl, she did a 30-minute country run this past Thursday morning. It was a 7 a.m. class. There weren't members in it, but she's back on the schedule now. She has her next live class is tomorrow, Monday the 13th. She's got a 30-minute intervals run, and then I also see a week from then, on Monday the 20th, she's got a 5 p.m. evening 30-minute 90s run. So it's great to have her back on the platform teaching live, and it'll be fun when she has members in the studio.
I know her Becs Beats are waiting very, very patiently for her to be on there. So, and to get into class with her, because it's been a while. She went out, earlier than anticipated, and kind of just, dropped off. We've shared before.
Yeah, she didn't get to have a farewell. She had a doctor order. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably really exciting to get her back on the platform. All right, so for all the Peloton rowers out there, Peloton has updated the Form Assist feature on the row. For those that aren't familiar, Form Assist is a real-time analysis of your workout to provide helpful tips and feedback on your form. It uses a variety of sensors and algorithms to analyze your movements and provide customized guidance to help you improve your posture and technique. Now members are able to turn that feature on and off, but it also allows members to enable text quotes. So with this newest update, members can receive text underneath with a more detailed feedback. I know a lot of rowers struggle with maintaining proper form, especially during longer rows. So this could be a great way to help rowers stay focused and engaged. Again, the cues can be turned on and off depending on whether one finds them helpful. You choose text and highlights or highlights only in the class launch screen. So did you see that, John? Of course, I have not been on the row, but did you see that when you, okay.
I did a 20-minute, it was actually my pick of the week, a 20-minute 80s row with Katie Wong from Wednesday. And it gave you the option, if you wanted to have that extra text form feedback in text displayed. I opted yes. It was actually really helpful because, you see a lot of times in the pull or the recovery or the catch, for me, I see some red here and there, but you don't really necessarily know how to fix that. It just makes me more aware of it in the next stroke. But now with the added text, it specifically tells you. So it was really helpful for me. So I'll definitely keep that, and I definitely use that to help improve the forum.
That's fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah. And so we've got some updates to the app to share in case you haven't noticed. We have some better distance tracking now. We have some live activities that show the pace on the home screen. First is the volume on your phone during a Peloton class, iPhone, can be controlled via the Apple Watch. So in addition, Peloton now supports the dynamic island feature on the iPhone 14 Pro and Pro Max if you have that phone. This will allow you to track and view class metrics without opening up the full Peloton app. So you basically see it kind of like a widget on the screen. So you don't actually have to be opening the phone and go into it and actually, focus on looking at your phone. Peloton also cited improved distance tracking as one of the new app features that they've made updates to. They said, we've improved the experience for tracking your outdoor workouts, even when your phone is stationary. For instance, if it's on a stroller or if it's in a bag, you can still get credit every time you move. And then lastly, they just tweaked the icon that represents your stack. Instead of a little plus sign in the box overlay, there is now a play symbol, a little play caret right there. So just some nice little tweaks and updates that they've made there. It's funny. I actually met when I was at PSL. I met a Peloton employee who works in technology, and he specifically works on the coding for the class suggestions when you finish a class. That's his specific job within technology. Okay. And he was just over there visiting, so he was going to work out of the Langley Peloton corporate office that day. But nice guy. But it was just interesting. That's his focus in terms of the technology that they have.
Yeah, well, it's really great to know that they continue to look at, making modifications and adjustments and just more user friendly. If anyone's watching or listening, the next one is to figure out how we can take a look at row classes on the app, if you own the app, so you're not having to go. I'm hearing that, how many DMs I get about that. Please talk about it on the show. So that is definitely one of them. And then there was another one. My good friend Robin Roshbaum told me, what did we talk about? And we both said, we wish when you're on the app and you can't see, it doesn't filter by by your friends, that you kind of have this whole long that nobody knows when you're on there. And it's frustrating for me because when I'm down in Miami, I use the app for the tread because I don't have a tread down here. And it really is so frustrating. I can't believe that can't be something that they can't fix easily. So if you're listening, that's another one we'd love for you to be able to do and update. I guess I would put it in that suggestion box, right? Isn't there like a suggestion email?
Probably, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, like contact us at One Peloton, something like that. Member feedback at One Peloton.
I think so.
I would like to be able to just access the row classes on the app just so I can pull a clip, or pull a shout out.
Yeah, right. Right.
I don't want to have Chris Giles was, telling me, oh, you can get this dongle, you can plug into the back of your row screen and then record it to your laptop. It's like, it's just, I don't want to have to do all that. It sounds like a lot of work. So I just put my phone, like in Katie's class, Katie Wong's class that I took the other day, I put my phone on a tripod during pre-show to record anything that might have happened. But, it's like a recording of a recording. It looks it's like the old days before I had screen recording. I would, and I recorded a funny moment that she was talking about Matt Wilpers and his tan towels. But, it's just, it's not the same. That. Yeah, the quality is just lacking. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, hopefully it'll happen. I'm sure it'll happen. Enough people will complain about it because as the row becomes more and more popular, folks are frustrated that you actually have to go to your row to see what's live, to see what's, coming up.
To count yourself in to get it on your schedule. Yep.
Exactly. I wanted to touch base on a recent bug that some riders reported in the Power Zone training program. The feature was restored around March the 8th, but it seems that some riders experienced issues with the target Power Zone not matching up with the actual output they were generating. So this Power Zone indicator was launched just a few months ago after years of requests from members. So we know that this must have been quite frustrating for riders. But the good news is that Peloton were aware of the issue and worked efficiently to resolve it as quickly as possible. In the meantime, riders were still able to use the Power Zone program and adjust their output targets accordingly. And Peloton, of course, did respond to this as quickly as possible, and it did get fixed. But, when you're in the middle of something and you want it to be, the way it should be at the time, it is frustrating when it doesn't work properly. So that was something that people moaned about.
Well, this next story is for frequent flyers on the airline Qantas. So from Thursday, March 9th, beginning Thursday, March 9th, the Peloton Bike and Bike Plus, as well as starter bundles, are available for purchase on the Qantas marketplace. So Qantas frequent flyer members can use their points to purchase these Peloton products. You can visit the Qantas marketplace website, log into your frequent flyer account, and check out with your points or points plus pay. But you earn 3 points per dollar. So like a Bike Plus would be a little over 633,000 points, and then the Peloton Bike would be 373,000 points. I've never flown Qantas before, but I feel like they're big outside the United States.
Very
international
big,
carrier.
Yeah,
in Europe.
Yeah, they are. Yep, and obviously for Australia, it's an Australian airline. It's Australian airline, so that'll impact all the Australian folk. But it's actually a very good airline. It's a really good airline. So that's great to see. Well, more news for the Aussie folks is that Peloton, which isn't great news for a lot, but Peloton has actually switched their financing partner in Australia. So instead of working with a firm, they will now work with Zip for their buy now, pay later financing options. This will not affect anyone who has already purchased the hardware and is using a firm to finance their hardware. But it is important to note that there is no date yet that has been given as to when this is going to launch with this new partnership with Zip. So it's been announced, but there's no actually date, which means that at this time, it's not possible to buy a bike or Bike Plus or now even a tread without financing. So I'm wondering if that's going to halt folks in purchasing hardware and knowing that they can't finance it. But of course, as soon as we hear as to when Zip will be launched and when folks can use Zip, we'll obviously notify you here on the show. So that is something, we'll definitely do. And then a quick add in, John, which Control Room has given us, and that is there is a tease that maybe Mayla Vedekant is coming to the tread. So we can thank the Rainer from Germany.
The Rainer.
Who gave us this, the Rainer. I say Rainer. The Rainer.
That's how Jeffrey McEachern says it, because he shouts him out a lot.
Is it?
Yeah.
A lot.
The Rainer.
Well, he's his admin for the Chief of Good Vibes. So yeah. But he's such a lovely guy. Anyway, he gave us that heads up. Apparently, she has been seen in quite a few classes on the weekends. She was in Susie's recent class this past Thursday as well. So is there some chatter that maybe she's going to be a new German tread coach, which will be interesting. I mean, who do we have? We have Marcel, we have
Jeffrey,
obviously Jeffrey, Marcel, and Tobias are the three. So it'll be nice to have a female German instructor on the tread, and we'll have to wait with bated breath, but we'll obviously keep you guys posted. But we wanted to throw that in as a quick add-in, which we just found out.
Nice. All right. So while we're on the German instructors, Jeffrey McEachern, he has a meet and greet that's coming up. Hopefully Chris Giles can attend it. It's in Germany at the Berlin showroom. Registration is open to all. So you can sign up. I'm sure we have a link on pelobuddy.com you can easily find. But it's coming up next month, Saturday, April 11th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. local Berlin time. But Jeffrey just recently shared on Instagram that he's running the Berlin Half Marathon on the next day, on April 2nd. Sorry, if I said April 11th, I meant April 1, which is actually the first half marathon he ever did 7 years ago. So he's going to be going over like some stretching exercises, followed by an easy run outside the showroom, giving some valuable tips and tricks for anyone that might be running in the race the following day or upcoming races. And it should be fun. Hopefully we get a good turnout for Jeffrey.
I really hope so. He has absolutely become one of my favorites on the tread. I just get so frustrated that I can't understand the classes, but I'm definitely on his runs or walks when they're in English, when he does the live studio ones. But that'll be so much fun for the German community. So if you can go along to that, hopefully we've given you enough warning on this one that you can absolutely sign up and give him an amazing turnout that he deserves. So that is really exciting.
The outside run, it's labeled as a 3-kilometer pre-Halb marathon shakeout run. So it's just, get the blood, shake it out, get the blood going.
Yeah, what's about 1.7 miles, I guess. Or is it the other way around?
Kilometers, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm right. No, I'm right. Yep, that's right.
Acting like I actually know.
Yeah. All right. Peloton are teaming up with GirlTREK and hosting Harriet house parties at several showrooms across the US as part of the Harriet Taubman Day on March the 10th. So GirlTREK had posted on their Instagram that they invite Black women around the world to gather with friends and family for a Harriet house party. They said, if you have been looking for a way to experience the Harriet house party vibes, but haven't been able to come up with a solution, we've got you. Most of the events are already full, but they recommend checking back in case there are cancellations. GirlTREK, for folks that aren't familiar, is one of the organizations that Peloton had partnered up with as part of the Peloton Pledge. So very fun for those folks that would like to go. And I'm curious to know if instructors will be there as well. But they are going to be across the country. So you can certainly head over to pelobuddy.com if you want to see exactly which studios are going to be having these meetups.
Right.
And then, John, we will go straight into instructor in the news. And I'm so honored to be able to do this one. As you all know, Leanne is just a favorite of mine. And there was an absolutely brilliant article that was just written up in the Telegraph by Joe Elvin, who has become a great friend of Leanne over the past 2 years or so through the pandemic. But Leanne opens up about how she taught her Peloton classes while having her chemotherapy and how it was her way of keeping her sane. The article shares some rather personal feelings of Leanne's that she hasn't shared yet with anybody. And I guess, John, that talking to a friend rather than feeling like it was a structured interview probably made it a lot easier for her to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot of what was shared has obviously already been shared by Leanne, but it didn't stop the tears from falling down my face as I read the article. She is definitely a rock star and such an inspiration to so many in the community. And there are so many Peloton folk that are dealing with cancers of their own and how to deal with it. And I think she has just been such an inspiration to so many to know that it's all about mindset. It truly is all about mindset and how you approach something, in a way that for some would just completely, roll up in a ball and not have to deal with any of this.
Yeah.
Correct. And she's shown that resilience and, community is what allowed her to get in there, to be there for everybody. As we've said before, nobody knew when she was going through her chemo that she was going through it. So, no question that reading this article just once again affirmed all the feelings that I have for her in just being such a superstar, and so proud of her and what she's accomplished. She's just had such a rough year last year that I can only imagine that this year is going to be amazing for her. How can it not be? So beautiful, beautiful article by Joe Elvin.
And she's, I did her last, on Wednesday. It was an 80s ride, actually. It was a 30-minute 80s ride because she was taking a nice long holiday. She's off for a couple weeks, apparently. I don't know where her travels are.
Yeah, I'm not sure what she's doing. I haven't been able to be on the bike, and it's killing me. It's killing me not to be able to be on these classes.
The FOMO's just got to be brutal.
You have no idea. You have, and I don't talk about it because nobody wants to hear about it, but it's been rough. It's been really rough. Yeah. Benny's been wonderful. Benny's been very supportive, and, has said, you'll come back, stronger. But, it's hard. It's hard when something is so important in your life and you can't do it. I'm going to get emotional, but all right, move on. Let's move on.
Well, Ash Pryor was recently interviewed by the NBC TV affiliate in Boston. Talked about, it was like a 4-minute TV segment, but she talked a lot about finding rowing at the age of 19 while she was a student at Ohio State University. And then since then, she's trusted her gut and her heart to guide her to where she is now. There's actually a much longer, fuller interview that I guess they only posted online, but you can also view the full interview there on NBCBoston.com. It's just over 30 minutes, but I highly recommend giving that a watch.
I love how these new instructors are getting out there and sharing just how amazing they really are. So hopefully their popularity is continuing to grow and the row is continuing to be well supported by everyone out there. All right, John, well, let's kind of roll right into picks of the week, and I will throw it off. To add salt into the wound, the first pick of the week is Leanne's 30-minute Kylie Minogue ride, which she did look beautiful. Of course, I couldn't miss how absolutely stunning she looked. And I think it was John that had said in one of his walks how she, came into the studio and had this Kylie get up that she was trying to put together. It was a beautiful white outfit. And, he kind of walked out and came in, and Kylie Minogue Minogue was standing in the studio. So it was really cool to see. But this one was recommended by Dor Horton, Amajar 3, and Carol Liz Thompson. As I said, it was a 30-minute ride back on the 2nd of March. And they said just a great, fun workout. Next up is one by Tough Tiff Sweats. This was Kristen McGee's 30-minute Pilates class from the 3rd. It was at 9 a.m. and they said great flow and challenging workout. And then Anna Greenberg, so amazing to have her back on the platform. Amajar 3, it's been busy. She was in Anna's 30-minute evening slow flow, also from the 3rd. And they said great way to wind down from a work week.
Great. Alana Ford gave us Bradley's 30-minute Disney ride from March 4th. They said great Disney playlist with a mix of classics and newer songs. And then next up, Spin Loving Mama and Where's SAC gave us Tune Day's 30-minute hip-hop upper body strength, also for March 4th. They said great music, nice incorporation of core strength. And when Tune Day has more time, she gives breaks, which is nice because she's hard. And then Jess Sims, her Saturday 60 tread boot camp, which was EDM, also from the 4th. Got that from Dippin' Dot 22. New moves, great music, and programming. And Dippin' Dot, I want to know what's your favorite flavor of Dippin' Dot. Do you know Dippin' Dot's ice cream, Amanda?
I do.
Okay, it's the ice cream of the ice cream of the future. In case you didn't know that, I'm a chocolate man. I always have to get the Dippin' Dots at the amusement park or at the game, the kind when they scoop it into the cup, not like not the sealed pouch or the cup. That's already you got to get the freshly scooped. But I'm curious what Dippin' Dots. What's your favorite flavor? Dippin' Dot 22.
Well, okay, hopefully they're listening hopefully they're listening and they can share. All right. Our boy, Jeffrey McEachin, he did a 30-minute 90s run. And friends, it's in English. It was from the 5th. Both the C Runs MD and the Reiner both recommended it. It is in English. As they said, he's adorable and does such an amazing shout out to his mom, who is in the class and literally looks like she could be his sister. In fact, I did message him and say, how old is your mother? And he gives Cody vibes with lines like, make sure you have good form. You can't be crossing the finish line looking like a hot mess. The playlist is full of feel-good bop pops. Super fun. So folks, if you haven't worked out with Jeffrey, this is a great opportunity to try an English run that was back from the 5th. Jen Sherman's 45-minute yacht rock ride from the 5th. This one was recommended by tons. Rachel Spins 24, Elle Kivilan, Elizabeth 1967, and the Ride Divine RN. They said great surprise to have this this early in the year. But yes, I heard that it was quite a ride. I heard so.
It was good. And I was also very happy she didn't put any Steely Dan in there because I'm not a lover of Steely Dan like so many.
It must have been all for you, John. It was all for you.
No, it would have been if she had put some John Mayer. If she put some John Mayer sob rock in there, it would have been perfect. But yeah. I know I'm gonna get shit for hating on Steely Dan, but
All right.
To each his own. All right. Kirsten Ferguson's 30-minute walk plus run from the 6. Tough Mama 28 gave us that. She said, amazing playlist and a great energy in the studio. And then Kendall's 45-minute 2000s ride from the 6 as well. Curvy Knockout, Amanda Mish, 94 Rangers gave us that one. I believe Curvy Knockout posted, she was in the front row for that ride. I remember from some social media posts from the Kendall groups. They said, nice. Whole vibe of a playlist and great overall vibe in the class. And awesome. Then,
all right, I'm going to take the next one because it's mine. So the only thing that I am able to do right now, whilst not very fast, is walk. And I did take John's 30-minute Aussie Vibes Walk. It was from the 7th. I did it on demand because it was in the middle of the night. But both myself and Jenny Colleen had picked it as our pick of the week. It really was amazing. His, feeling of having been in Australia and then sharing that with all of us on the platform was just so amazing to watch and see. He picked all Australian artists, and it was such a great playlist. And of course, John is just so much fun. You never feel like you're working out. So that one is, of course, Kylie Minogue featured, having just done her opening concert tour in Australia this past month. So that was really fun to see. And then Aditi had a 20-minute Hali Pilates. So the Hali or Holy, I don't know how you pronounce it, excuse me if I'm incorrect, but the holiday was just this past week as well. And she just came back. She's been off the platform for a little bit. This class dropped on the 7th of March. Haley Ann Beck recommended. Great class celebrating this festival. So that was really fun to see Aditi back on the platform and obviously celebrating something that was important to her.
And our friend Amajar 3, it's like they were getting some sleep in on this one. They recommended Kira Michelle's 20-minute sleep meditation from the 7th. They said, great class. These longer sleep meditations are so helpful. And
I did just do that one, John, and I have to tell you, it is nicer to have a 20-minute. Sometimes you just need that little bit extra to get you there as opposed to doing like multiple. Because when you're doing multiple, you have to flip back to the app and, pick another one. So these 20-minute ones are really great. And I did do that one. It was actually beautiful.
Sometimes I need a little more than a 10-minute.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I just like a longer one, It goes by too quick. Next up, Matt Wilper's 30-minute EDM ride from March 8th. Casa de Miller submitted this. 30-minute EDM run. I apologize that I say ride. It's a run. Casa de Miller said, Matt Wilpers is pure joy, minus the hill, no joy there. And then you got the next one.
I am, because I am going to talk about Matty Majacomo's 30-minute pop walk from Wednesday the 8th. This is his walk and talk series. For those folks, it switched now to Wednesdays. They were on Tuesdays. They're now on Wednesdays at 9. Or maybe they were always Wednesdays. They changed the time. So they're at 9 a.m. And Maddie asks for recommendations kind of on Monday as to what folks would like to talk about. And, this week has been something very close to his heart. They're talking about, everything that's in the media about
Tennessee.
drag. And
queens being banned. Drag queen shows being banned in Tennessee.
And it was just very moving to hear him be so emotional about it and yet give us an amazing workout at the same time. And he definitely pushed us as he was talking so passionately about something that feels so important to him. So that was, it was my pick of the week, as well as Pelo Benfica. He gave me chills as he spoke to us, and that was what Pelo Benfica said. And I agree. I definitely felt very moved by listening to him talk.
Next up, Katie Wong's 20-minute 80s row from the 8th. This is my pick of the week. Really good, fun 80s playlist. Like I said, that new form feedback with the messaging below your body image of the row, really helpful. And, just fun. She had some Earth, Wind, and Fire. I'm looking at the playlist right now. She had Run DMC. She had Def Leppard, Pour Some Sugar on Me. And she said, when that song came on, she goes, all right, you guys ready to pour some sugar on yourself? She goes, actually, don't do that. That's probably really gross and sticky. You don't want to do that. Pointer Sisters, Roxette, just a different, not your like standard 80s hits that I normally hear on 80s classes. So it was a nice change of pace in terms of the 80s genre. Definitely have fun. 20 minutes is great on the row for me. I feel like that's my sweet spot. Same thing with running, it just, you get tired out on the rower pretty easily.
Quickly, yeah.
Next up, Mayla and Asal's 30-minute Women's History Month 2-for-1 bike boot camp, which was in German from March 8th. We got this from Robin Spins 82. She said, such a great energy between these two and the first 2-for-1 bike boot camp. And then Ash Pryors, we got another rowing recommendation from Bertha C. Runs MD for Ash's 20-minute intervals row, also from the 8th. She said her words about women supporting other women, standing up for each other, and being a role model and being proud of who you are gave me the chills. Plus the music and her energy were just so great.
Awesome. All right. Well, I guess that wraps up the picks of the week. So while it was a shorter show this week, we gave you such a long one last week. Some of you may still be listening to it. We did keep it tight, and we shared some interesting news this week. But as always, folks, we always like to thank you so much for taking the time to listen to us or watch us. We hope that some of you do watch us, because Chris puts a lot of effort into some of the stuff that he puts out there when he... Yeah, he really does, and it's always a pleasure. So I guess that's it from us this week. So for me here, I do hope to be here next week prior to surgery, my one last show before I go under the knife, and hopefully I will be on and get to say my bit next week. But anyway, for me here, bye for now, everybody.
Yep. And for me here in Michigan, I always appreciate you tuning in, watching, and listening. And as always, we will see you on the leaderboard. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching Pelo Buddy TV, your source for everything Peloton, by the community, for the community. Work out with us using the Pelo Buddy TV leaderboard tag, and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Pelo Buddy. Don't forget that we have a podcast available so that you can listen to us while on the move. Just search for Pelo Buddy TV on any major platform and hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode.